Shameless. United in the Europa League. Europa League. We tell them one time and we say
Manchester United won, Omonia 0. A last-minute Scott McTominay winner gives Manchester United the victory at Old Trafford. Mina, what did you make of that?
I'm happy. If you guys can't tell, I'm happy. What can I say? It's 3 points. Like, it don't matter how you get it. Even if it was an own goal in the last 10 seconds, I would have been jumping up and down because it's 3 points. We need all the points we can get in this group stage run. This game, we could have had a lot more goals. Like, we could. I didn't anticipate. I said to you lot in the stream, if we didn't score in the first 70 minutes, what makes us think we're going to score in the last 20? And then we scored in the last 5. So that says it all. Scott McTominay, I didn't think he was going to be the one to come on and be the super sub, but he was. 3 points. I'm happy with it. It should have been like a lot more. Watching that game, 33 chances, 34 chances, 14 on target. We had nearly 79% possession. We had double-digit corners. It should have been 3-0, 4-0 at the most.
Is it just one of those games, though? Is it one that you can be critical, you can look at some of the negatives, but is it sometimes just one of those games where keeper was unbelievable for them today and ultimately we got the win and that's all that matters?
Yeah, ultimately we got the win. Credit firstly to the keeper, because I can't sit here and be like, we were poor, because we weren't the worst. Like, I've seen us play worse football. I've seen us against Real Sociedad. I've seen us, against Brentford. I've seen us against Brighton. This was not the worst performance. The keeper, firstly, had a man of the match performance. He came to Old Trafford and said, yeah, I need a move to the UK. So I'm putting on a show at the Theatre of Dreams. And that's exactly what he did. Some of it was great saves. Some of it was poor finishes. Anthony should have finished one of his chances that he had in the opening minutes of the second half. Rashford had a chance. It was Ronaldo to Bruno, and then Bruno played a through ball and he just hit it straight at the keeper. Fred had a chance. Fred actually had 2 chances. He had an open header, unmarked, and then he had basically a clear-cut shot on goal. So it's one of those chances where any other day it could go. The game could go either way. Omonia wasn't a threat to us. It seemed like we had everything covered, what they were throwing at us, although it was the bare minimum. They were throwing things that it's not like they were throwing like the kitchen sink or anything. They were literally throwing maybe a spoon and a fork. That's it. And we had it under control.
Cutlery.
Yeah, light cutlery. We had it under control. I think it's one of those games where their player Bruno, if he had squared it, the game just is different. It's literally that one chance that just changes the whole game. But it's 3 points. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the negatives. We're going to see games like this. It's a learning process this season. We've got a new manager, new tactics, some new players. Martinez is looking comfortable. I was saying that I feel comfortable every time I see Martinez progressing the ball. I feel more comfortable with him on the ball than someone else, like one of our other maybe centre-backs, maybe if it's Lindelof, maybe even if it's Malacia or Dallo. I don't know what it is, but he offers like that calmness when it comes to progressing the ball from our third into the middle. So it's one of them games, it's the nitty-gritty games. You get 3 points, on to the next one.
On to the next one, but Bruno Fernandes, got to talk about Bruno. People that are critical of him will say that he's wasteful or that when he gets in the final third, he tries to force things or he rushes things. Is today an example of why those people might be critical of him?
Yeah, I think today, like, I could understand why people have been critical of him. I try to be as patient as I can with pretty much all of our players. But this is one of those games where you look at it and think, yeah, our 10 should be controlling the tempo for us. And we did have control we can't say we didn't have control of the game, but for me, I was most disappointed with his set piece taking. It was his corners. It was either, not enough on it and he's not beating the first man, or it's just too much on it and it's just going on to the other side of the pitch. There's no real like middle ground when it came to his set pieces. And it's funny because with Bruno, it's like he can have a bad game and then he'll do one thing that just, everyone forgets, myself included. I think when Sancho came on and Eriksen came on, I think that kind of calmed him down a little bit. In the last, I'd say 10 to 15 minutes, it did kind of calm him down. In the first 20 minutes of the game, it seemed like we were rushing everything, trying to get a goal. It was like we were just building on the opportunities that we were having. And then after that, it just became desperation. Rashford started to become desperate for a goal because in the beginning, he looked good. He looked confident. He was taking on players. But then shooting, and then there was chances where he's shooting where I think he could have passed it. So there was quite a few performances today where I could look at our starting 11 and think no one really had a standout performance similar to like their goalkeeper. Casemiro was good in the first half. Second half, he was okay, got dispossessed a few times. And now we're just starting to see that Casemiro offers us like a offensive threat as well as, you know, he's there for defensive coverage. You know, he can break down the opposition. There wasn't much to break down today, which allowed him to get forward a lot. Could have got a goal. That would have been a great goal for his first United goal. It would have been a great goal, but it was a great save. He even had a header where he could have got another goal. So I guess he got taken off for McTominay. I think it was a like-for-like switch, which I guess is probably to save his legs
winning
for the weekend.
Substitution.
Is the winning substitution. but I think it's because, you know, to save his legs for the weekend, McTominay is not available. He's booked. So again, there's not much to analyze. I don't think there's much to talk about in this game, just simply because it was 33 shots, you know, 14 on target, 79% possession, 10 plus corners. We should have won it comfortably 3-0, 4-0. But on any other day, we could have. But then on any other day, we could have conceded. So it's just like, I'm happy, 3 points, on to the next. We need to look ahead. We have to top the table. I said this from our first game against Real Sociedad, that we need to top the table, because the most important thing is to have a comfortable route in the Europa League, because it's our best hopes of a trophy this season. And it seems like Ten Hag is playing his strongest lineups every game.
Talk to me about Marcus Rashford. Again, wasn't his day today. Is it a positive, though, that he was getting in those positions, particularly in the first half, start of the second half, to get those shots away at the goalkeeper again? Another day, he'd have got 2 or 3 goals, possibly.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've had sympathy for him last season simply because he came off a difficult injury, which we know that he was playing injured under our previous manager for some time, you know, obviously with the Euros and then coming back, getting surgery. So last season, it was a difficult season for him. Erik Ten Hag talks so highly about Rashford. I think every opportunity when people ask him questions about, you know, United striker options, are we going to be in the window to buy a new one? He always talks about Rashford. And today he looked a bit more confident. I think his confidence has been rising over the last few games, especially because he's been scoring in the Premier League for us. He looked like he wanted a goal today, could have, you know, gotten a goal or two. I think after a point he became desperate and kind of tried to start forcing it. And then he kind of went out to the right and we didn't see much involvement from him in our build-up anymore. Every time he's on the left, he's involved in pretty much everything. But then when he goes on the right, he's a lot more quiet. And him and Sancho were switching over. Bruno was going out right, and Rashford was playing through the middle. And you could see him trying to play that link-up play with Eriksen and with Bruno and with Casemiro before he got subbed off. Rashford looked good today. He didn't look at his best, but there were some opportunities where I looked at today where he's getting a shot on target. And if that was Rashford last season, he's knuckleballing that into the crowd, or, you know, he's missing a chance and his shoulders are dropping and he looks like he don't want to be there. But today he looked like he wanted to come out and give a good performance. I wouldn't say it was 10 out of 10, but it was decent. And I think he's definitely building on the confidence from the last few games.
Finally, do you think then that we're going to top the group, or is that too far ahead to look at the moment?
I'm not going to say anything because people will come back to this fan cam and be like, oh, Mina jinxed us, it's like Flex touching the post. I'm not going to say anything. I hope that we top the table. But like I said, it's one game at a time and we just have to take it as it comes.
One game at a time, take it as it comes, but a victory tonight nevertheless.